I'm actually for once getting my cooking done in the early afternoon as opposed to scrambling before dinner. So, woohoo! Hey there, it's Amanda. I'm going to be making a burnt broccoli pesto, something I've never made before. And it's a recipe by Gelen, who does all sorts of fantastic and incredibly popular cooking videos on TikTok for us and also on Instagram. And this is one of hers. And what she's doing with it is she has you char the broccoli in a cast iron pan, which adds another flavor dimension to the broccoli. And also I was a little skeptical of broccoli with basil, pesto ingredients. I don't know, it just felt like a little too much going on. Or maybe the broccoli was somehow gonna tamp down the flavor of the garlic and the basil, but apparently not from what I hear. And I'm very excited to try it, so here we go. Well, the first thing I did was actually cut a small, medium head of garlic. This would be broccoli, not garlic. Broccoli into florets. And if they were small florets like that, I left them whole. And if they were big, I cut them in half. And then I also, included the stems. And we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to the pan. That's hot. And when the oil is shimmering, which my oil looks like it is shimmering, this pan got hot very quickly. All right, I'm gonna add the broccoli and then I'm gonna weigh it down. If you've got a grill press, ooh, okay. All right, okay, woo, yikes, okay, calm down. Not so bad. Okay, I'm gonna just give it a quick spread around because I wanna make sure it's evenly spaced. And then I'm gonna take this heavy copper pan that I have. You hear that? Just smush it down. And then, hopefully I didn't get oil all over my shirt. We're gonna char the broccoli for 4 to 6 minutes without moving it until the broccoli is burnt and charred in spots. So I'm gonna move this down to medium just to make sure I'm not over charring. Get out my wooden spoon, because that's the next step. And in the meantime, well, I already did it, but I'll show it to you later. I grated some cheese, I got my basil cleaned, I've got some garlic peeled, pine nuts ready to go, and my blender all set up. Alrighty, we're gonna check in on our little contraption we've got going here. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, so it's supposed to be charred and burnt in spots, and I would say that is looking very good. Oh wow, look at that one. So what I'm going to do next now, she has you use a wooden spoon to toss the broccoli. So I'm tossing it away. And then we're gonna actually add a half a cup of water. Woo! Okay, that was exciting. And then we're gonna cover that. Steam for 7 to 10 minutes. It seems quite long. I'm gonna see, because I feel like actually the broccoli was already kind of cooking and softening. And so I don't want it to overcook. You want it just to soft enough that it's gonna be blending. So I think you just have to play it by ear depending on the broccoli that you get. All right, it is time to try the broccoli. It's supposed to be bright green and fork tender. Yep, it is indeed. These stemmy pieces are a little bit firm, but I think that's okay. I think because it's gonna stay warm for a bit. So I'm gonna turn off the heat and then I'm gonna transfer this to my bowl so that I can take it over to the blender. All right, now she says you can make the rest of the pesto in a mortar and pestle, a food processor, or a blender. Whoops, I am gonna use a blender because I had that out on the counter. We're gonna head over to the other side of the kitchen. So instead of starting with the broccoli, she starts with the aromatics. So we're gonna throw in the garlic, 3 cloves of garlic, and a 1/4 cup of pine nuts. Toss those in. Salt and pepper. I'm just gonna add a little because we don't know how much we need yet. And we have not seasoned the broccoli, but there is a lot of cheese that's gonna go in. So let's give this a little chop first. All right, here we go. Okay, because all the whole pine nuts decided to hide in the corners. Okay, let's give that one more. All right, they're just gonna stay that way until we add some more things. So we're gonna add a handful of basil leaves. There's a handful, boom. We can always add more later if we decide it's not basil-y enough. And then I've got a cup of Parmesan and I'm gonna add a 1/3 of a cup of olive oil. You need to be super precise here. Okay, and then we're gonna blend this till it's smooth. Carolina, I'm really having fun with your recipe. Thank you. Let's see how this goes. You gotta be patient with this blender. Oh. There, now it's doing its thing. Okay. Oops, wrong tool. Fork in a blender is not the way to go. I want to just scrape down a little bit and make sure everything gets nicely melded. So Carolina says to keep this chunky. I'm gonna do that. In fact, well, you know what? I do want to make sure the garlic though is chopped up. So give me 1 sec here. Ooh, that's getting a nice color. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, now we're gonna add the broccoli. This is how easy this recipe is. I'm loving this. Okay, I would do a giant batch too. This is supposed to be enough for 1 pound of pasta. I don't know, I feel like we're gonna wanna eat this by the spoonful, so I might double it. I haven't even tasted it yet and I've decided I'm gonna love this recipe. But I really, how can you go wrong with broccoli, garlic, and basil, and pine nuts? Now, I don't want this to go too long because you want some chunks. You want it to be coarse. I feel like I might wanna add a little more oil. Is that possible? Take a look. Ooh, that is very coarse and nice looking. It's very thick. There's like 1 chunk of broccoli that decided, it's like, nope, I'm not in for this. I'm gonna pour in a little bit of more oil because I'd like it to be a little bit looser. Give it a little taste now. Good, but definitely needs salt. And pepper. So I can see there's a big tussle with that last piece of broccoli. The blender's gonna win. Okay, this is probably getting too smooth for Carolina, but I think it's better to have it a little looser. So just do it to taste or to your preference. Okay, I'm gonna stop that. Oh, what's nice is actually you get chunks of broccoli and you also get like chunks of pine nut, and you can really, really taste the cheese, and then the garlic comes in last. This is fantastic. You could add more basil to taste for sure, but not a necessity. And so you can put it on top of pasta, obviously, but you could also put it on toast with ricotta. You could, I don't know, you could do a lot of things. You could mix this with potatoes. Also, I just wanted to mention that we have another, charring is like a very kind of cool technique that really does add nice depth of flavor to dishes. There's a carrot recipe that came from a community member, carrot soup recipe. To make the carrot soup, you cut up the carrots and you put them on a baking sheet and then you broil them raw, which is something first time I did it, I thought, well, this is never gonna work. And it actually is amazing because it's not like the carrots cook through during that process, but they get nicely charred. And then you add them to the soup base and then they cook through. And it just gives us depth and sweetness and richness to the soup that is amazing. And I highly recommend you look that one up too. Here is our charred broccoli pesto from Carolina Gelen. Thank you again for the recipe and cheers. Honestly, I could eat this by the spoonful. And maybe I will. I'll see you soon.